What is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and welcome to Let's Perfectly Play, drumroll please, Barbie Supermodel. One of my favorite games from when I was a kid. I spent a lot of time playing this because I was a big fan of Barbies as a kid. And we're not going to be playing this on the junior model difficulty, we're going to be going on Supermodel. So we got Barbie dreaming about driving around in Hollywood, so what are we going to do? We're just going to cruise around, picking up these blue stars. You know, this game is pretty tough. Now, watch out there, we don't need that heart. We'll just pick up one a little bit later because we just want to keep on cruising. We have to slow down to get that one. If we get this yellow star here, that's going to unlock a mini game. And all of these stars are going to add up to our score on top. So now we've got to match Barbie's outfit with the one that was shown. So now there are a whole bunch of different outfits, which are pretty difficult to choose from. It's very difficult to memorize 3 different colors, pieces of clothing, and choose among these outfits and then toggle for the right colors. It gets very difficult and it's very taxing over time. This run probably took a couple thousand attempts because of the difficulty of this minigame alone. And as you can see, Barbie just has a ridiculous amount of outfits to choose from. You can see in her wardrobe in the back, and she's obviously some sort of star. She's got like a movie director type chair with her makeup and everything. Man, it's real intense. But as I was saying, this is one of the best games I've ever played. It's a relatively short game, but that gives it a lot of replayability because there's so many different outfits you can choose from and colors you can choose from for those outfits. So now, as you can see, we're getting scored based on what we got accurate like out of their outfit. And if we get it all correctly, we get 300 points. Now we're going to narrowly squeeze in between those cars. And this is also a very educational game in that it teaches people how to drive. And more importantly, it teaches men to avoid girl drivers because all women drive bad, according to the developers of this game. So you can see Barbie driving down the middle of the road very often. And now we're at dance practice, where we're going to practice our routine for the catwalk. We've got some nice music blast in the background, and Barbie's just going to go to each place and then do her cool little pose, and then we get to drive back for the fashion show. But as usual, we're going to avoid that drunk driver there. You're swerving in and out of those lanes. Don't want to deal with that. But Barbie's just going to keep on speeding. Now, it's also worth noting that in all of these segments during which Barbie is moving, there are 3 different speeds at which you can move, and there are 3 different directions you can go, which is really tough. So now we have 5 things to remember for this segment here, making it easily one of the most difficult minigames. Not to mention, there are different shades of red and different shades of pink, and this is actually really difficult. The different shades of red and pink are actually very difficult to discern between, and so now we have to do the makeup and hair design and everything. We got a perfect score there because we're heroes. Come on, let's be real. So you can either go straight, you can move up, or you can move down, and you can either go fast, medium, or slow, leading to 9 different combinations, and all of them having their own advantages and disadvantages. However, as this is a perfect run, we're going to be trying to speed up as fast as we can for most of it because we embrace the challenge. And so now we are finally at the fashion show, where we have to memorize our pattern from earlier, where now we're being scored based on how accurate we do our pattern, but we get a perfect score. The maximum score for each level is 1,720, and we're just going to move on to the very next one. We got the paparazzi following us, the camera's flashing. We're looking good. The SNES graphics suit it well. Oh, and now we're thinking about roller skating in Hawaii. Yes, you can see this gorgeous background. The graphics are just great, and the roller skating mechanic is very different from the car one. You can tell that this is a completely different type of level. It doesn't feel anything like the last one, and it's significantly more difficult. We have to watch out for these frisbees, which get extremely close to hitting us, and these beach balls, which we can't see coming from miles away. And now we have swimsuits to match up with. Before, it was like a bigger dress, which has more, I guess you could say, clothing to actually see and memorize. So it's easier to memorize, but with these swimsuits, there's so little clothing that Barbie's body actually gets distracting and makes it more difficult to memorize everything. It increases the difficulty tenfold, without a doubt. And it's almost like it increases the number of outfits from which the game can choose from for you to memorize. So you really have to be on your toes at all times and be ready to not only scroll to the correct outfit, but you don't want to scroll past it because then you could take hours actually trying to get back to it. And you always have to be paying attention because during these times where you're scrolling through outfits, it's easy to doze off. Well, unless you're that attracted to Barbie, which most guys would be. But then again, not that many guys would be playing this game. But for those that were, they would be very drawn to it. And so now we finally found the right outfit. We toggle the colors for the right slippers or heels and clothing, and of course we're gonna match it perfectly because we know what we're doing. We're pros at this game. I played this game to death. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Almost better than Mega Man. And now we have to very carefully slow down there to get that star, slow down to avoid this bird. That would have been bad. We would have lost one of our chance hearts and wouldn't have been a perfect run anymore. And that's very key to having such an impressive game with such replayability value. You want to go for the maximum possible score. And that's why I love this game so much. So now, yet again, we practice our moves. It's slightly more complicated than the last set. It's some button, then a different button, and then that repeats that little pattern. And now you have to head back to the fashion show. This doesn't mimic the first level at all. It's completely new, and the new scenery, the new mode of transportation, the new potential outfits, it just adds so much variety to the game. I really feel like each level is innovative, and who wouldn't want to be on the beach? It's just a wonderful place to be. So now we notice that the lighter shade of red for the lipstick, and so you have to be very careful with these. You have to be constantly paying attention. You can see all these different tools around the mirror with which Barbie can play around with, and there's a lot you can change, and you have to be careful about what you're doing. So a lot of times you spend a lot of time thinking, was it the red star earrings or was it the hoops? I personally think the red star earrings might have looked better, but you had to remember that it was the hoops, and that's what's important. This game challenges your conventional fashion senses by making you memorize things that aren't necessarily even the most fashionable, while at the same time making you memorize some outfits that are at least mostly fashionable and teaching girls and guys playing this game about fashion. Now, do you see that there? That frisbee and the bird came at right about the same time. You have to very narrowly avoid that. That's almost frame perfect. It just has like plus or minus 30 frames of spare room. And so now we're going to go on the catwalk in a swimsuit, which is, a little risque for a children's game. I was surprised. However, my young adult mind, when I was like 6, playing this game, was not too unhappy about it. So now we're going to go to Vail, Colorado, where we have to very carefully avoid these little ice puddles on the ground. I can't tell if they're actually frozen or not, but like always, we're going to be grabbing our stars and watching out for these tobogganers who just fly down the middle. They're almost faster than the cars. It seems like they're faster, at least. That snowball there, you have to very carefully slow down just in time to avoid it. Now you can see we have winter outfits to memorize for Barbie. In addition to the swimsuits, in addition to the casual wear, now we have winter outfits to memorize and to scroll through, which means this minigame could take even longer, and the game is deliberately making you scroll through more outfits, making you look at more outfits to potentially make you forget about the one you need to remember. It's very difficult, and it definitely scales in difficulty as the game goes on. There are 4 levels in total. We're on level 3 at the moment, and man, so many runs just didn't even make it this far because of that frame perfect frisbee and bird dodge in the second level, and so many of these minigames are just ridiculously difficult. I don't know how they expected young kids to be able to do this. I feel like this is a game actually targeted at adults who are interested in Barbie, which is a lot of people, a majority of the population above the age of 18, especially the male population, is interested in Barbies. I can attest to that. I'm very well known for my statistics, and I have very reputable sources. My little cousin, who's 5 years old, told me about that one day, and she's very trustworthy. So now I wish, because we're not just walking, we have a new mode of transportation which does spice things up, because it seems like she's walking at about the same, different speed than her car or her rollerblades. But I wish they would have included skiing or something. Not just the same walk down a road at the same speed with the same potential speeds and directions. However, we do get to see some variety in the clothing Barbie is wearing, encouraging women and men both to wear warmer clothes in colder weather, as you can see from the snow. And she's wearing a jacket with a little headband, although that's probably for her hair more so than her ears. But she's wearing nice boots and pants, not shorts. This is some great tips, building some fashion intuition in the players who are playing the game. It's really a great game to teach a lot of people about what clothes to wear, to avoid women drivers, to match your clothing well, to wear the right types of makeup with the right earrings, it's just really some crucial life skills that I don't know where else I learned them. I've played Mega Man games, I've played Pokemon games, I've played Zelda, but none of them just match to this game and the amount of sheer knowledge you gain from playing the game. And the fun that accompanies the knowledge in this game is just next to none in how great this game is to play. Every level feels so different. Every single time you match an outfit, it doesn't feel repetitive. I love cycling through every single outfit that you could possibly go through to find the right one, because I just love looking at all these different outfits. I love memorizing everything in this game so that I can get to the catwalk at the end and practice my dance moves and get perfect scores. It's just ridiculous how fun memorizing literally everything in this game is. It's, well, short action segment to a memory minigame, and then a little bit more action to a memory minigame, and then another memory minigame, and then another memory minigame. And I love practicing my memory all the time, even when I'm playing games. It just doesn't even feel like they're trying to disguise that I'm using my memory for every single minigame. And now we're actually in probably the hardest level of the game, the final level, and part of what makes it so difficult is the hitbox of the bike, because it's not just about getting hit by Barbie, it's getting hit on the bike as a whole. So you have to be very, very aware of your entire hitbox, or your hurt box, as these birds and frisbees are flying at you, and then some other things are being thrown at you. So you have to be very careful as we scroll through now all these glamorous like dress outfits. There's so many outfits to scroll through, but like all the other levels, I love scrolling through all of them every single time because they all just look so great, and I'm learning so much about all these different outfits. Not to mention the hairstyles, which you can't even toggle, but look at how much different types of hair Barbie has. I'm just learning so much about all the different style and fashion trends that existed a couple decades ago, which are very relevant today still. Very, very relevant. So I think this is about right. I think we're going to go with lighter blue because I wasn't sure. The shades of blue in this game are very, very difficult to discern from, as well as the shades of red and the shades of pink and the shades of like skin color. But you know that challenge isn't cheap challenge. It's completely fair, and it's expected from a game like this. Now, we're very carefully avoiding these frisbees. While, man, those joggers, they're really difficult. Not that in that you have to avoid them as they're running at you, but then they're very distracting as a moving object on screen. Now, I have to be careful with this bird. This bird destroyed so many runs. It was ridiculous how many runs that bird ended because of its placement. The enemy placement in this game is just great. It's constantly forcing you to react at the last second to avoid the enemies. You really have to know everywhere an enemy is going to appear. Not to mention the RNG involved in which fashion outfit you're going to be chosen for each game. And, well, there isn't really any other RNG because every star placement is in the exact same spot every single time. But the RNG that is there, it just adds so much to the game because the game is so different every single time. Having more than one different outfit or makeup set that you can choose from for Barbie. It's just ridiculous how great this game is. And we're almost at the end. I'm very sad to say that we're almost at the end because this game, which you guys should definitely enjoy, I highly recommend you get this game. It's probably worth hundreds of dollars on the internet because it's such a great game and such a well-renowned game for its innovation as far as graphics go, gameplay goes. Everything is just amazing about this game. And it's not like this game even sets back women's rights by any means. It's a women's game all about fashion, which is what all women's games should be about. Everything is pink and red and all about makeup and clothes. I don't know what else is there to support. This is great for women because only women are interested in just fashion and clothes and the colors pink and other bright colors like that. Why would they be interested in anything else? It's not like they even give them the option to not like the stereotypical women things. And so just like that, we beat the final level and we have a perfect score, and now we can see Barbie is finally a supermodel in her dress, and she's going to go on the runway as the supermodel of the world and is on TV, has a huge crowd. We've finally beaten the game and done it perfectly. So now we see the credits, of which there are not very many, and this game is 1993, I believe. Wow. It's a relatively old game, but it aged very well. It's still a great game, and, you know, as a bonus, I think I'll show you guys the junior model difficulty because Man, they really make it difficult. First of all, we just hit junior model difficulty and we're like, okay, what? We're choosing Barbie's clothes. Okay, alright, maybe a swimsuit will work. We'll choose the colors and then that's great. And hey, look, we're on a magazine with the swimsuit that we just chose. Okay, that's great. Now we choose the makeup design. This feels like all just like the mini games. And so we'll change up a few things and choose that makeup. And look, we're on a magazine. We're doing so well. And then we go to the runway, but we don't have a pattern memorized by any means. So we'll just do what we want. And that's it. That's the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this April Fool's joke. God, I hate this game. It's an awful game. It's so boring. It's the same thing every time. It's really funny. It's a joke. This game was not that difficult. There were some really cheap tricks. It's really kind of stupid, and it's way too it's just an attempt at being a super girly game, even though we've already gone beyond that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but until the next video, this has been Midnight Zero, and this mission is complete.